Hey guys, back with another video. Today we're talking about why the markets may have melted up despite, obviously much higher interest rates. We're nearly getting close to all-time highs in the markets, in the S&P and the NASDAQ. And, what is the cause of this? Obviously AI is part of it, the narrative of AI, but that definitely doesn't explain everything. Other things have gone up too. So let's get into that. Really, I think it's one major reason, and that's simply that people think that the Fed will cut rates sooner than they're saying, and that, stimulative monetary policy will ensue sooner than expected. Also, people are also obviously thinking we won't have a severe recession like, was kind of general consensus for a while. I think people are lightening up on that idea. Now that inflation has come down, I think people are a little bit less concerned about how high the rates could possibly go. And we still have very low unemployment. So all of these things, I think, create a picture of we're not going to have a really hard landing. Maybe it's a moderate recession. Maybe it's a soft landing even. I think people are somewhat pricing in as a possibility. And also, on top of that, people think that the Fed will cut rates sooner than they're saying, and that we will continue the soft monetary policy. And, this I think is a big reason why Bitcoin has done well, and also why long duration assets are doing really well, such as tech stocks. So I think really that is the question that you have to ask yourself if you're going to be very long in these markets, which I personally am actually very cash heavy. I am wary. I think we've already had this huge run up. I have a lot of equities. I have a lot of Tesla stock. I have a lot of Bitcoin. And I do have some pretty long duration speculative stocks as well. But I'm also very cash heavy. I have a big exposure to gold. So basically, the way I view it is that it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen next. I could see a really big crash, or I could see a continued melt up. All I know is that, looking at the big picture of things, it's not very sustainable, as it's never been sustainable, but it's less and less sustainable. Looking at the debt to GDP ratio and how much of our budget is just in interest payments on our own debt as a country. So when the interest payments are making up a huge percent of your budget, that doesn't seem like a healthy economy. And it's not just us. Other of the large nations, China, and obviously Japan has been the famous one for decades, have tons of debt, massive debt to GDP ratios. So it's a worldwide phenomenon, but really the takeaway, looking at the big picture, is that it's not sustainable, and it's less and less sustainable. And we're printing more and more money each time that we enter loose monetary policy. We're printing more and more absurd amounts of money. And so I think really that is the major driver of this melt up, that we are reaching the end of the tightening policy in terms of rising interest rates and the Fed decreasing assets on their balance sheet, and the stock market is forward looking. So the stock market obviously thinks that the loose monetary policy is on the horizon, and I would agree with that. But the part that I am wary about is, how bad will the economy be? Will unemployment go up? Will we have a bad recession? Is the housing market finally going to come down? Because right now, housing is, I believe, at the most unaffordable prices in history. So I am wary about the economy and a recession looming, but at the same time, I do agree that we will be having loose monetary policy probably sooner than the Fed is saying. The Fed is saying that they're going to keep rates high for at least 2 years. I think he said something like that. I strongly doubt that. So yeah, I'm prepared for both scenarios. You know, obviously none of this is financial advice, and even, you know, the greatest economists, the greatest investors are saying that it's a time where it's very difficult to predict what will happen next. And I think it is nice that inflation has come down, but you know, there are lots of other potential problems. So that's it for the video. A little bit of a ramble. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you disagree. See you guys next video.